Okay, again for this project what y'all are going to do is find 4 images, 4 high quality images, and then we're going to use Photoshop to basically make a composite montage of those images. And you're supposed to find 1 toy, 1 vehicle, and an animal, and then image of your choice. So let's say I find a toy or something like that. And this one is real simple. And let me go to images there so I can get better quality images. And again, I want you to get images that are high quality. And of course, most search engines, when you float over the image, it's going to tell you the pixel rate or the resolution of that image. How many pixels tall by how many pixels wide. So that one's good high quality. Normally, you can see some of them are lower quality just by the resolution. Never copy just the thumbnail. These are all thumbnails. They're not actually the full-size image. Only bring over the full-size image. So let's say I'm going to go with this fellow right here, and that's actually not a high-quality one, so maybe not. That one's not high quality. I can see its poor resolution even in the thumbnail. Let me find a high-quality one. That one's okay. So I'll get that one. This is the full size of the image, and to be sure, you can go to View Original Image, and that lets you know you're actually looking at the full size size of the image. And now I need to copy this, and let's see, copy image, and let's see if I can get this into Blackboard correctly. And I'm just going to go to the project area on the discussion board, and I'm going to make my own pool of images. So I'm going to create my own thread. PS image pool, and let's see if I can attach that image. Let's see if I just try to paste it in there. That works. You know, that's going to be the best way. I want these visible when your classmates go through them. It's just going to speed it up a little bit if they're actually able to see the images. So let me get one more image. Let's say a vehicle. And you do want to get a vehicle that shows the entire shape. You know, you don't want one that is cut in half or anything like that. So I'm going to go with this one. Copy image, go to Blackboard. My cursor's blinking down there, Control V to paste. And now just to test this, I'm going to go ahead and submit it. When I look at these, I do want to be able to see it. So that works. I'm able to see those just by copying and pasting them in there. So, so now let's try to move these to Photoshop. Let's say I had all 4 of my images, and then I'm ready to start building before you get the other 6 from your classmates. So I'm going to take this to Photoshop again just by copying it from Blackboard. Then go to Photoshop. And right now I've got a blank document. I want you to lay your document out at tabloid size. The reason I like for you guys to do stuff at tabloid size, it's a very common size. Tabloid size is actually 2 8x10 sheets of paper together. And also you can get it locally printed pretty easily if you want to get something printed. If you guys ever need to do any advertising or something like that, it's the next step up from an 8x10 sheet of paper, and you can get pretty good color prints at that size, like at Office Max or somewhere like that. But I'm going to get this one, lay this one out at tabloid. So I'm going to go to File, New. Tabloid is a preset size. It normally is, but I don't see it. Let me go to inches, see if I see it. Still don't see it, so I'm just going to set this up at 11 by 17. And also, resolution is very important. 72 ppi, pixels per inch, is web quality. And it's okay if you're designing images just for the internet, but potentially this image would be for print, so we want to go above that. So let's take this at least to 200. But also, because we're bringing in so many images, I wouldn't want to go to 300. Photoshop file sizes are going to get a lot larger than the file sizes in Illustrator, so do be aware, don't get your file sizes too big. But I am going to take this to 200, and already I've got a 21 megabyte image with no images in it. So if your image starts to get sluggish or anything, you can always come back and either change the percentage of the image or the resolution. So I'm just going to make my graphic. Okay, there it is. Just like in Illustrator, in terms of the interface, a lot of my tools are over there. Real important one is going to be my layers palette. Navigating around the interface, Control plus and minus, same thing as Illustrator. That's going to let me zoom in and out. Also, when I'm zoomed in close, my space bar turns into a hand that lets me grab my workspace to move it around. So now I'm going to paste the toy that I copied. Control V to paste. It comes in there. One of the key things in Photoshop is scaling. Making things larger and smaller. There's a hotkey to do that. On Blackboard, I've got a lot of the basic hotkeys. One of the real basic ones is transform, Control T. That's going to give me my control nodes around that object, and it only is going to work on the object that is selected, so always be sure you have the correct layer selected. Yeah, and again, Illustrator is an object-oriented environment. Photoshop is a layer-oriented environment, so do keep that in mind. You're not just going to be able to click on an object and grab it. You're going to have to identify which layer it's on to work with it. So I want to scale this, stretch it. Always when you're scaling, don't just scale from the side. You're going to make your object askew. It's not going to look correct. I can undo that by hitting Escape. But I want to put my transform back on it, so Control T. Always scale your stuff from the diagonal corners, and always hold down Shift. Shift is going to lock the proportions of your object. And then when you are finished scaling it, you need to apply the transformation by hitting the Enter button. And I can zoom in, and I'm pretty much ready to start cleaning this up, getting rid of the background. You may need a different color background. The background comes just locked anytime you open a new blank document or anytime you open a document into Photoshop. It comes locked, so I need to unlock this, and also I need to turn this just into a layer. So I'm going to double click on it. It's a layer now, and I'm going to fill it with a maybe gray or something like that, so that I can see behind this a little bit. I've got a paint bucket tool, just going to pour that back there. A couple of ways I can clean this up. One way is with my eraser tool. Your eraser tool works like a brush. You can change the head on it. Right now it's got a standard head on it, a hard head. I can also change the size of it. So that's making it larger by sliding that right there. And then with, whoops, got the wrong layer selected. It erased the background because I had that selected. So Control Z to undo that. Then I'm going to hit layer 1. You only have one Control Z or undo in Photoshop. If you want to go back further, you go to Edit and step backwards. Alt Control Z. And I think that gives you maybe 30 undos. You don't have a monstrous amount of undos in Photoshop because it takes up processing memory to have a lot of undos. But just do be aware that you can step backwards further than just that one undo. But I've got the correct layer selected now. And my mouse, there it is. So I can start getting rid of some of this. And I can even zoom in, Control plus. And when I'm zoomed in, again, hold my space bar. I can move over a little bit. My eraser is too big right now. Make it smaller, and I can get rid of other stuff. that's one way to erase. The way I prefer to erase that's better is with my polygonal lasso tool. Not the top lasso tool, but the polygonal. The polygonal actually works like the pen tool in Illustrator. I click, go to a new location, click, and I can just go along this edge. The polygonal needs to have a closed shape in order to work, though. So I'm going to go back to where I started, and even close to it or just float over it, it makes a little circle letting me know that I can complete that. But you can also just double click, and then it'll make the marching ants. The marching ants denote that you have a selection, and then on that layer with that selected, I can hit backspace or delete. Then I can just sort of start over. Click, and that really ends up being the best way to clean these up. If the objects that you select have a very uniform color around them, you know, like just a white background, a black background, or something like that. Oh yeah, Control D, once you have a selection, is going to deselect. You can try to use the magic wand. Don't go magic wand crazy, because it's not going to get rid of all of the pixels that you need to get rid of. You know, but that does a pretty good job just going around this. But notice the problem that your magic wand is having in that area down there. That's going to happen, so that's why you do need to either rely on your eraser or your polygonal lasso. But with that selection right there, I can hit backspace, Control D to deselect. But there's still a lot of stuff that the magic wand always leaves, so do be sure to clean up those sort of areas. But those are the primary things with this project. You know, start building a composition. If you want to make up a background, you can make up a background with the maybe the gradient tool or something like that. It's really up to you, or you can bring in a background or something like that. The composition, how you put the objects together, is up to you. Again, this is just a very basic Photoshop project. I do want you to also bring in text elements. They can be, you know, you can make some sort of narrative out of the composition that you make, or it can just be random words. I do want you to also bring 5 words into this. You know, and when you click the text tool and just click in here, it's going to create its own layer for that object. And also by double clicking on the layers, you get other effects that you can do to the objects. So lots of different things in Photoshop that you can do. But just to get started, first thing, just start to bring your preliminary 4 images into Photoshop, and then just start to work with them to cut them out and everything like that. And I'll just answer y'all's questions that you have about it.